Welcome back here to the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM WXOU. I'm Giovanni Moschieri, your host. And we just covered, if you're tuning in right now, if you're tuning in 40 minutes late, first of all, where you've been. Second of all, we covered your club sports here at Oakland University. We went through a bunch of them. And we also just went through your NCAA sports. So, if you missed all that and you want to get your GioMoShow action, YouTube and Spotify is the place for full recordings and episodes of the GioMoShow. And right now, we got the NFL to cover. We also got my live picks to get to for this upcoming week of the NFL. So we're going to be covering the Detroit Lions blowing the doors off of the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to talk about some of the shockers, some of the highlights, some of the results of Week 5 NFL football. So getting into the Lions. 42-24 was the score against the Carolina Panthers in Detroit. Panthers stay winless, and the Lions stay winning. In this game, it's not a surprise that this is what happened. It's not a surprise that it was a domination game. Panthers are rebuilding. The Panthers are not a good team right now. They have a lot to work through. Rookie quarterback, not a lot of threats or weapons for that quarterback. Defense needs a lot of upgrades. The whole team needs an upgrade. That happens with certain teams. You know, back in 2015, the Panthers won the Super Bowl. You know, teams go through their ups and downs, and, you know, some longer than others, but this is currently the time for the Carolina Panthers. And the Lions took care of business. They did what they were supposed to. They were 10-point favorites, and they won by more than that. Some would say they covered. But to get to some of the highlights of this game, some of the players that really showed out, some of the players that caught my eye, some of the players that are now getting some recognition around the league nationally. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson's interception was awesome. He one-handed it, dude. He's a defensive end, or I guess now, since they're throwing him in the middle a lot, you could call him just straight-up defensive lineman. He has 4 interceptions in a season and a quarter as a defensive end. That's stuff J.J. Watt used to do. That's stuff that, like, freaks of nature do. Not even, like amazing DNs. Monsters get interceptions like that. And sacks. And pressures. Aiden Hutchinson is top of the league right now. He's top there in pressures. He's getting up there in sacks. I think he's at 4.5 right now. Way up there in interceptions, if you're going to be talking about that in total. But it's just incredible what he's been able to do. And, you know, you hear the whole transition of, like, okay, when you're a rookie, yeah, you're still learning, you're still learning the lifestyle. When you're a sophomore in the league, you know, everything's going towards football. You're not going to class. You're not, you know, you're focused on football, so obviously there's going to be a lot of improvement, but, like, he's getting a lot of improvement. This is awesome. He is a guy that is a leader of a defense, man. Aiden Hutchinson is freaking awesome. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. This isn't groundbreaking news. This is just the topic of the week. David Montgomery is still an absolute monster. He fits perfectly with this team, with the offensive line, with his style of running between the tackles. Eventually, he's going to complement very well with Jahmyr Gibbs. Eventually. It's whatever. I'm not going to get into the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. It'll happen eventually. I'm not worried. But, you know, it's just Montgomery's awesome, man. And even like that touchdown run that he had early in the game, you never see him break out for that long. Usually you'll see him take 5 guys with him, you know, for like a 12-yard run. But like he like bounced out and got up on the edge, and somehow they couldn't catch him. You know, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but you got all that. You got, you know, the blocking concepts are right. You know, everything is just working so well for that run game in David Montgomery. The dude's a bowling ball. You know what I mean? He's just so much fun to watch. Sam Laporta is literally one of the best tight ends in the league as a rookie. And I remember when he was drafted, there was the whole debate about whether you pick Sam Laporta or you pick the guy from Notre Dame. I forget his name, but he went to Green Bay. And Okay, so if we're gonna bring this up, I don't like this isn't really a debate, obviously, because Sam Laporta is doing fantastic. But could it be that if they picked the other guy, it would be the same production? Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't, I wouldn't imagine that, or otherwise I would have picked him. So I gotta kind of think of it that way. But Laporta is literally a top 3 tight end in the league right now, and it's awesome. You got Kelsey, let's say Mark Andrews, and then it's Sam Laporta, or for Kelsey, Kittle, and Laporta. Maybe some think he's even better than Mark Andrews. At least this season he might be. But it is just awesome. And then who else is awesome? It's Josh Reynolds. He's one of the most reliable receivers. He's one of the most reliable receivers on the team. I was going to say the league, I haven't studied enough to make that determination. But Josh Reynolds is good. He's consistent. He knows where he's going to be, or he's going to be where he says he's going to be. And, he's just reliable, consistent. When you throw it to him, you're not worried. And that gets kind of into the Jameson Williams topic. Obviously, he had a really bad drop early in the game on a crossing route. Some say he was afraid to get hit. I am not making that statement. I don't know for sure, but it was a bad drop right through the hands. It's not a good look. He made up for it with a block that led to that Montgomery touchdown. Yes. Let's say it cancels even. Let's say it breaks even, clean slate. But either way, it's not, sunshine and rainbows for Jameson Williams, his situation, how he's developing, how he's being used, how much he's being used, how much he's going to be used. You know what I mean? It's not looking the greatest for that first-round pick that you traded up to get. There's still time, but he's kind of behind the 8 ball here. He, red shirt for injury, that's fine. Suspended for 6 games, weird situation, but still kind of dumb. You're still not there for the team. You come back, and you're dropping stuff. It's not an attack on him personally, and I don't like to do that personally with athletes. I'm trying to watch my mouth when it comes to talk about specific athletes, but when you take the evidence of what we've seen before, it doesn't look good. And it's something that we expected it to look better. Can we agree with that? I think that's an agreeable thing to say. And you wish it would be a little bit cleaner. You wish it would have a lot more production. And you wish you saw some of that potential. It's there, but man, I hope he gets going fast, because he's going to have to get this done in a hurry, or else things are going to get loud about Jameson Williams. He's still got a shot, but he's got to. I think he's got to hustle for this one. I think he's got to, put some real emphasis on this. So, with that being said, let's get to the rest of the NFL, shall we? Let's get to the scoreboard. So, Thursday Night Football was the Bears and the Commanders. What happened in that game? I was out with my friends, and I kind of saw this on the TV as we were walking by, and I'm like, the Bears scored how many? I look at my fantasy. I left DJ Moore on the bench. DJ Moore in my league, at least a PPR league, and I forget how the points are calculated, but he had 8 receptions. He had 230 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 53 points in my league. I left him on the bench. I had him. And Cole Kmet. So, this Bears offense went nuclear on the Commanders. I don't know what's going on. That was such a shock to me. That was such a blindside. They just dropped the bomb on the Commanders. It was amazing. 40-20. Wow. Sunday morning was the Jags and the Bills. Jaguars they were in their second week in London, and the Bills were visiting and showed up late. I think they were there Friday. They flew in Friday for the Sunday game, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I heard some study or some statistics saying that the team that arrives latest to an international game wins, usually. So it's a whole mess to figure out, but the NFL was trying to figure out whether having a team in London is going to be such an advantage for the visit or over the visiting team. So they were trying to figure that out. the game kind of looked like that there is much of an advantage for being adjusted to the time zone compared to a team that is not. The Bills that scored like 37 in their previous 3 games in a row scored 20, and they came out the gate sluggish. And it was 11-7 up until the third quarter, or going into the fourth quarter. That's where the fireworks started. But weird game. Jaguars win 25-20. Texans and Falcons. CJ Stroud, he's been having a good season. He has been. You can't knock that. The Falcons, however, they showed up today. Desmond Ridder threw for 329 and a touchdown after the Lions kind of dethroned him in week 3. Now he's had a bit of a bounce back game. And the Falcons won at 21-19. Lions and Panthers, we talked about that. Titans and Colts. I never know what to do with the AFC South. How to predict it. Who's going to win. I never have any idea. Colts were awesome in this game. Zach Moss, 23 carries, 165, and 2 touchdowns. They beat the Titans 23-16. Dolphins and Giants. Giants are not good. Giants are really, really, really not good. 1-4 in the season. They are beaten handily by the Dolphins, 31-16. Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions, 181 yards, and a touchdown. Devon A. Chan, I forget how to pronounce it. 11 carries, 151, touchdown. Tua, 308, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's there. One was a 102-yard pick six. That's the only touchdown the Giants had that day, but, it happened. Speaking of a beatdown, Saints and Patriots. Saints shut out the Patriots and then also leave 34 points at their door in a paper bag and light it on fire, if you want to put it that way. So they came to their place. They dropped 34 on the living room floor and left. Didn't let them have any. 34-0. Saints win. Patriots look bad. Patriots, Giants, Panthers. You could say Bears, but Bears are on the come up, but like some stinkers in the league. Ravens and Steelers, the AFC North throwdown was a weird one. Steelers ended up winning at 17-10. George Pickens had a fantastic game. 6 receptions, 130 yards, a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, 236 and an interception, unfortunately. But the Fire Matt Canada chants in Pittsburgh are happening, and they're loud. And it looks like they're going to be continuing if the score is going to be 17-10. Defense can only do so much. But in the AFC North, the game's kind of come down to that. Steelers win 17-10. Eagles-Rams. I really thought the Rams were going to be able to get this one. Eagles, they stay undefeated. 23-14 is the final score. Jalen Hurts, 303, an interception and a touchdown. He also rushed 15 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown got 6 for 127. And the Eagles, although they aren't up to the standard as we had them, with their Super Bowl run last year, they're still undefeated. Their offense is still good. They're still scoring. And the brotherly shove is still unstoppable. Team's getting better at it, according to center Jason Kelsey on his podcast. But 5-0 speaks for itself. Bengals and Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals were going to get this one, but Joe Burrow, he comes back. Jamar Chase, he's definitely back. And the Bengals seem to be steering the ship. Joe Burrow had 317 for 3 touchdowns and a pick. And then Jamar Chase, always bleeping open. 15 receptions, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. He made up for the games that he didn't, they lacked in. So coming up on a few minutes here, let's kind of fly through this. Jets and Broncos. Broncos look bad too. The Jets beat them 31-21. Breece Hall, 22 carries, 177 yards, and a touchdown as well. But the Broncos, they need help. It's code red. Some say they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline. And it's looking like nothing has improved since Sean Payton's got there. They got time to improve, but like you're kind of treading water here. We'll put it that way. Chiefs and Vikings. Chiefs win at 27-20. I have been told that there is some weird penalty action into this game. You know, some would say the Chiefs got bailed out again by the referees after they struggled to beat the Jets and then struggled to beat the Vikings. I've been told that the refs have been involved in it. That's just what I've been reading. Pacheco, 16 carries, 55 yards, touchdown. Kirk Cousins, 284, 2 touchdowns. He's doing all he can. We love Kirk Cousins, but we also love the 1-4 record in the division. But, you know, the team is just 13-4 last year, man. It's not like this is a hard fall. And speaking of hard fall, we get to Sunday night, 49ers Cowboys. 49ers boat race them 42-10. And separate themselves plenty from the Cowboys. Cowboys falling in a bunch of rankings, especially in the NFC. Still can't get over the hump of the 49ers, whether you're looking at the past 2 playoffs, whether you're looking at the regular season. Cowboys have struggled. They're still a pretty decent team. Cowboys are still a pretty good team, but inconsistency is what usually gets them. And 49ers just keep working. Brock Purdy, okay, he's kind of good. Brock Purdy's kind of good. It is a fantastic system. I know that the whole debate about whether Brock Purdy's good or not has some hilarious wrinkles and takes involved in it. You know, some would say, you know, I heard some people doing the game of like, could this quarterback do what Brock Purdy's doing? And they went to Garoppolo, they went to Kirk Cousins, they went to Mahomes and Hurts and Allen, and they ended up finding like 20 quarterbacks that were able to do what they thought were able to do what Brock Purdy's doing, but he's good. He's good in that system, and so far it's the only system he's playing in, so that just means he's good with what he's got. What he's got is a lot. Kittle had 3 touchdowns, too. That was crazy. So, 49ers are super, super good, and cream of the crop. 5-0 along with the Eagles. And then Monday night, a stinker. Packers and Raiders. Raiders win it 17-13. Happy is the GioMoShow here. Packers are now 2-3, and that's an even farther gap between them and us being the Lions in the division. And you know, both these teams are still not good. Both these teams are not the best, and for Monday Night Football, it was gross. It was definitely gross. So that is your NFL scoreboard